Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Bailey. I am going to be a fourth year, fourth grade teacher in Michigan this school year, and I am in the middle of doing some prep for classroom setup. I have the next 2 weeks off, so we're not allowed into our building for the next 2 weeks, but then I have the next 2 weeks where I can be in and out doing some classroom setup, and I'm actually planning to do all of my classroom setup during those first 2 weeks of August. I mentioned in a couple of my other videos that we have a week of professional development and then the first week of school, but when we are there for our professional development, we really don't get much, if any, time to work on our classroom, so I am planning on going in before and getting that done. If you're a teacher, you know that as soon as that professional development week starts, things start coming at you from every angle, and I just want to have the classroom set up and organized before all of that craziness starts to prepare myself the best that I can. But like I said, over the next 2 weeks, I will not be in my building, so any prep that I'm getting done will have to be done from home. There are a few things that I want to get done, but much less this year, of course, because it is my fourth year. Thankfully, I am very happy with all the decor up and around my room. There are a few things that I'm changing, refreshing bulletin boards and things, but nothing to prep in advance. That'll be during my classroom setup time. I really haven't had a need for a lot of shopping. I have not been visiting the Target dollar spot as much as I have in previous years. I have gone, but I haven't purchased anything. I haven't felt like I needed anything from there for my classroom. I did get one thing today when I went though. Let me show you what I got. I forgot I actually got two things. So the first thing I got, because it's gonna be my golden year in fourth grade, fourth year in fourth grade, so I got this balloon that I can have for the kids to take pictures with at Meet the Teacher and then also the first day of school. So I picked this up while I was at Target today. The other things I got were from the dollar spot. I got 2 packs of 4 of these little bins. I teach science for all of fourth grade. We're departmentalized and we rotate. So I do 3 sessions of the same science lesson every day. We use mystery science, which I love, and we get to do a lot of really fun activities during science, but a lot of it is cutting, so we have a lot of scraps. I've seen a lot of people over on Instagram doing little tidy tubs, and I haven't really felt like I needed to do that in my classroom until I realized that it would be so smart to do during science time. Just have one at each one of the tables. They can put all their scraps in the bin as they are working, and then at the end of our science time, just dump it for the next round. That way we're not getting up a million times to throw scraps away, and then also hopefully more of it will end up in the trash in the end with the tubs. I think that at some point during this week or next week, I'll be adding tidy tub to at least 6 of them. I imagine I'm gonna have about 6 tables. I might just do all 8 if I'm going to be making them all at once. We'll see. But that's an example of one of the projects that I can get done this week or next week as I'm waiting to go into my classroom and start official classroom setup. But today I'm going to be working on a project for math. I am so lucky to have a math aide that is able to come into my classroom during math time. She comes in and helps while I'm doing small groups and working one-on-one with kids, and she's helping some of my mathematicians as well. She has so many amazing ideas and strategies to help my mathematicians. This year she created an awesome tool that we definitely used. She took the idea of my skip count posters that I have up in my classroom and created a little table tent for my mathematicians to use either individually, or I use them a lot during my small groups. But of course they were tossed into student bins and in their math books and folders, and the lamination just didn't hold up. So I want to create a new set of those this year, but I want to take my exact skip count posters and turn them into the little table tents. That's what I'm going to get started with today, creating the little tents, and then at some point during the next 2 weeks I can print and laminate them, get them prepped. So I'm going to get to work, and then I'll just continue checking in with you over the next 2 weeks anytime that I'm working on something for my classroom. been about a week since I finished up these table tents, and I realized I never chatted about them when I was done. I am obsessed with how they turned out. I tried a few different size variations for the table tents, but I ended up going with this one that when you print it, it's 2 per page. I printed them off, cut them, then laminated and folded, as you saw, to create all these little table tents. I just made a set of 30 of them to have in my classroom this year. So I just made a few extras knowing that they're going to be tossed into folders and bins and things. My mathematicians do use my skip count posters that are up in my classroom almost every day, but there's going to be something different about having it right there in front of them. Obviously, not everybody has the best seat in the house to see the skip count posters in my classroom, but these table tents are going to be super easy for them to read, and I think are going to be very helpful this year. I'm really glad that I got that done now. I knew that I wanted to make them, so I'm glad I just have it done now. I did post on Instagram. A lot of people are loving them and interested in them, so I uploaded them to my Teachers Pay Teachers. If you're interested, I'll have that link down in the description box. Next up, I'm going to work on my tidy tubs that I talked about earlier in this video. I'm going to be using these for science. I'm going to go through and add the words tidy tub to all of them using my Cricut today. So the first thing I need to do is go into the Cricut Design Studio on my computer and design what I want to put onto each one of the bins. I'm going to measure them, make sure that it's going to fit on here how I want it to before I get them all cut out. I get a lot of questions about the fonts that I use around my classroom. So one that I love using is KG Blank Space Solid. I use that for my schedule, flip calendar, all the numbers that you see in my classroom. I think last summer I purchased a bundle from By Literacy Now fonts, and I've been using a lot of those too. So I like to use Heights Boulevard, and then the cursive that I use around my classroom is Yale Street. The Blank Space Solid is a wider font, so for projects like this, I like to do something that's thinner, which is the Heights Boulevard. I'm going to use that font, just keeping it very simple. I'm just going to write tidy tub. Okay, I wrote the word tidy. I want to keep it under 5 inches, so I'm going to go through and change the width to 5 inches. That'll automatically adjust the font size. I'm going to add the word tub. They're in the same font. I just created 2 text boxes. I typed tidy tub. They're in the By Literacy Now Heights Boulevard font, and then they're both the same size. Now I'm going to go through and get them both, and then I need to weld them. That'll make it cut all together. So now it's just one thing that it's going to cut out. This helps me with sizing too. So this is 5 inches wide and almost 5 tall. My bin, oh, it's too big. Okay, so I need to bring it down a little bit, maybe change that to 4.5. So 4.5. Okay, that'll take up most of it, but I think that is what I wanted. Time to go plug in my Cricut and start cutting these. I do have a few different Cricuts, but this is the Cricut Joy Extra, and it's really tiny, but it works really well for probably most of the things that I would use in my classroom anyway. I love how small it is because it's so easy to just get out and create with. I also really love that it connects to my computer with Bluetooth, so I don't have to plug that into the Cricut. So I have this ready to go here. I'm going to cut 8 of them right now. Tidy tubs are all done, and I am obsessed with how they turned out. I ended up doing all 8. So I put the Tidy Tub vinyl on all 8 of the bins I got. Love how they look, and I know that they're going to be so helpful to us during our science time especially, or if we're doing any crafts or projects. I can pull these out and we can use them. I did take a break to watch the Olympics for a little bit, so it took much longer to finish them than I originally planned. So that's all I'm going to do today, but I have another project in mind for tomorrow. I'll catch up with you then. I'm ready for my last project, last thing I want to do before I go into my classroom next week. I've picked up a few things from the new Saved by the Pastel Schoolgirl Style collection, and I also got the digital decor bundle. So I printed off a few of the things already that I know that I want to have in my classroom this year. I always put something like this up on my fridge for Meet the Teacher. I usually just print them, staple them, and then as the year goes on, just take them off and recycle them as we get work actually put up on that board. This year, I'm going to go ahead and laminate them and hopefully be able to use them again next year. I love this style, and I printed 4 of them. That way I can just put a few up on that board for Meet the Teacher. The other thing I saw on there that I know I want to try out in my classroom this year is this supply set. So it says you will need, and then there are a bunch of different supplies. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut them, laminate them, and then put a little sticky piece of magnetic tape on the back. That way I can put them up on my whiteboard when I'm giving directions, or even put next to certain subjects of our day in my daily schedule. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do all of this, but I know that I wanna try it out. So today I'm going to cut, laminate, and get them set up. That way it's just another thing ready to go, and I can obviously do that without being in my classroom. So I wanted to get this done today, and then I'll also laminate these at the same time. I just realized my magnetic tape is back at school. I'll have to finish these up when I get there, but for now they are cut and laminated. All I need to do is add on that little piece of magnet tape on the back of each one, and I'm really excited to try this out this year. It came with really everything that I feel like I would need throughout the year, so I'm really excited about this, and again, it's from Schoolgirl Style. I also laminated and finished the Amazing Work Coming Soon posters that I'm gonna put up on my fridge when we have Meet the Teacher, so I have 4 of those ready to go. All of that is done and ready to go to my classroom. I'll be going to my classroom next week. So tomorrow, actually, I'm leaving on a very exciting girls trip. One of my best friends is getting married in about a month, and we have her bachelorette trip this weekend. So I'm leaving tomorrow morning for that. I'll be back on Sunday. Monday, if you don't know, I am part of a project-based learning cohort in my district, so we meet a couple times throughout the school year, but we do also meet one time in the summer. So Monday is our one meeting. Then Tuesday starts the 2 weeks of me being able to go in and out of my classroom to do my setup. So I'm going to go for sure on Tuesday. My goal is to go 3 times into the classroom. I made sure to make a list of all the things that I want to get done and separated it into those 3 days. We'll see how that goes because things always take longer than you plan for them to, but I have a lot of time to play with over the next 2 weeks. That is another one of my classroom setup tips, making sure that you plan out what you want to do when you get to your classroom. It's really easy to get to the classroom and just kind of freeze and not know what you want to get done. So I made a very specific list of things that I want to get done on Tuesday when I go in. That's part of my prep, was making that list. On Tuesday, I'm going to make sure that I bring everything in that I got over the summer, make sure it's all in my classroom, and maybe even put most of it away. And then I'll be filming that for a haul that I'm going to post next week. I guess I already know that I'll be going in at least 4 times because then I have 3 parts of classroom setup days that I have scheduled out. The first part of classroom setup, I will be switching in some things that I had to redo over the summer, making sure that I'm cleaning some things out to make space for anything that is new. I'll hopefully be able to take down my bulletin boards, and then I have a few other things planned for that classroom setup part 1. I have those 2 videos planned to go up next week. Big classroom haul, and then also the official start of classroom setup. Make sure to subscribe if you have not already so you don't miss those videos. I'll be posting twice a week for a couple weeks. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Good luck if you have started your classroom setup already. I will see you in my next one. Thank you for watching.